Disclaimer. The takes on this podcast may not be backed by facts or statistics. In fact, most of the takes on this podcast are backed by feelings, not facts. Unfortunately, podcast equipment is free to purchase by the public. Please enjoy this podcast at your own discretion. On today's show, Zane gives us a snapshot into the wedding he went to earlier this week, and then Devin and Zane debate who the greatest wide receiver is of all time and who the most influential receiver is of all time. Let's go.
Yeah, okay, good morning, afternoon, and evening. It's the guy you should believe in. Dropping heat like every season. Underdog like Willie Beeman. Classic like Dom singing. Blasting like bombs ringing.
Welcome back. I'm Devin, that's Zane, and this is Buffet Sports.
All right, let's start this off. I just want to, so I went to a wedding today. By far the most fun I had watching a wedding. Like, I wasn't a part of the wedding, or I wasn't drinking, and like I didn't even stay for dancing because I had my nephew's graduation I had to leave. But just watching the venue, by far the funnest. Congratulations to Brady and Megan. I told them that I would congratulate them because he's going to be watching this. Congratulations.
Oh, yeah. Congratulations.
I really enjoyed seeing everybody. I want to show you the wedding fit, and then I want you to tell me what you think.
We got to get you some better fitting pants. That's what I think.
Yeah,
it looks good though.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It didn't look bad. The camera's probably not doing it justice, but it didn't look as
It looks
bad
better. It looks better, right? Like when you, whatever you just did. Also,
When
your
I'm
shirt's
moving.
tucked in weird.
when
Your
I'm
shirt's
moving,
tucked in
yeah.
weird.
Well, I didn't have a belt because if I wore, see, like, I'll just show you real quick. If I wear this, and I was wearing cowboy boots, by the way, just as another one. Look at this. Don't I look like a strapper right here? But if I wear a belt, as you can see, and with cowboy boots, I look like a jockey.
I don't know.
With
I don't know.
cowboy boots, I look like
We got to
I
get you
was-
some better fitting pants.
Yeah, I don't have many dress pants at all.
Yeah.
And
All you really need is one. Like, I have some dress pants, but really for you, you just need a good suit. You just need a well-fitting suit.
100%. So like the week
Like just
leading-
one.
Yeah, the week leading up, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the store. I'm gonna make an outfit. I get off work today. I'm like, I haven't made an outfit. So I come home and I'm stressing out because I'm running through all this, and then I have black pants that fit way better. But the problem is, I search up on the internet. I was like, can you wear black to a wedding? They're like, so it's a little taboo because it's like you wear that to funerals and this is a celebration. So I put on the
Right.
green pants that are tighter and they don't fit as well. I get there, flipping Marco Rojos in all black with a white cowboy hat, looking so fresh. And I'm like,
When you're going to that kind of wedding, bro, you got to just, when you're going to a young person, especially
bro,
with
Mondo
that
was
vibe.
Mondo was
I
flipping
forgot Mondo
wearing,
existed.
yeah, he was wearing like a Hawaiian shirt. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm overdressed. This was do I have it up here? No, I don't. But I had like a black shirt with like black decals on it. And it was a dress shirt. It looked really nice. And and the first fit I put on was black with the cowboy boots. And I looked really good. Like, but I also
That's what I would have wore.
yeah, but the black at the wedding, I searched it up and it said no black
Yeah.
at wedding. So then
Why didn't you ask someone? Why didn't you ask someone?
Not day of the wedding, brother. Not asking anybody on day of the wedding.
Why?
Because the only people that you could ask are like people that are involved in the wedding, and that's a stressful day for them. Because like if I ask,
not
if I
best
ask,
men, not best men. You should ask who was his best man.
best man was Tony. Tony
You
Hawk.
definitely could have asked Tony.
Yeah, I
Really,
could have.
Tony?
Don't
I didn't
don't
know they were
okay.
cool like that.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you. I figured out at this wedding, Brady and Richie watched the podcast and they loved it.
Really?
Yeah, so
That's dope.
be respectful when you're talking about his best
No,
man. He's
I
gonna
just
see
didn't-
this.
I just didn't know that they were best. I just didn't know they kicked it like that. That's all. That's all I meant by that.
No,
I
they
didn't
were
know
like,
that they. I didn't know they
from-
were close.
Yeah, from the speech, they've been friends for 16 years. I did not know that either.
I just didn't know they were close like that. That's it. That's why I said, really, Tony? Like I just
Yeah.
didn't
All right,
didn't know that they were close.
Yeah, so I have two stories. from the wedding. First one, something nobody knows. I had a date to the wedding.
Oh.
I want a preference that I asked her
Preface,
yesterday.
preface, preface,
Pre preference?
preface,
No, it's definitely
preface.
preference.
Nope. Preface. I want to preface.
I wanted whatever the word Dev said. Say at the
Preface.
beginning. Say at the beginning of this. I asked her last night, and she said, "Yeah, okay." So it was not planned at all.
She said, yeah, okay. That's how
No,
she responded.
she didn't say yeah, okay. She said, I don't remember what she said, but it was a positive response. I'm at work. She texts me. She's like, "Hey, it starts at 4, correct? I'm gonna have my dress and my heels in my car, and then I'm gonna go on a boat today for a couple of hours. And then could you just pick me up at the beach?" And that's when I said, yeah,
No.
sure.
Oh, I would have been like, no, I'm going alone now.
Yeah, but here's the thing, I didn't want to go alone. Do you think I have the social skills to solo a wedding alone? And I'm driving, so I can't drink?
With your best friends from high school?
Okay, but I have this weird fear to where I worry that nobody wants to talk to me, right? So I was so anxious leading up to this wedding that I get
Sure.
there and none of them wanted to talk to me. So that's why I wanted a date. So at the
So
very
did she
least,
go with you?
I'm getting to that.
Okay, sorry.
I It starts at 4. I'm picking up her at 3. I'm picking her up at 3:30, and then we
Okay.
are driving 30 minutes to the venue. So it's a tight schedule. I get there an hour before because she said 3:15 to 3:30. I leave at 3 o'clock, get there at 3:10, and start circling the parking lot for 20 minutes.
Bro, I would have been livid. I would have been pissed.
Well, she said before that while I was getting into the shower that her phone was about to die, but it should be 3:15 to 3:30 is when she's going to get off the boat. I'm circling. I circle till 3:35. I don't see her. I'm like, I'm really going to have to solo this wedding. I go. I get there at 4:01 and I'm freaking the hell out because I'm like, it's 4. What if they start early? What if they start early? Me, let's just put this in the with cowboy boots on. I walk in, these are down. I walk in, and then well, it's an outside venue. There's numerous amounts of seats open. I think that at any second the music's gonna play. I see an old man and an old lady, and then one seat squished right in between them. I'm like, "Hey, can I just sit right here? I think I'm late." And they said yes. So then I'm sitting like squished in like this for the entire venue. The venue was great though. It was by far the most fun I had watching a wedding. Like I wasn't a part of the wedding or I wasn't drinking and like I didn't even stay for dancing because I had my nephew's graduation I had to leave. But just watching the venue, by far the funnest. Congratulations to Brady and Megan. I told them that I would congratulate them because he's going to be watching this.
Oh yeah.
Congratulations. I actually,
Congratulations.
and I really enjoyed seeing everybody.
Okay, I have an opening question for us.
Perfect.
Okay. So, I saw a post today and I thought it was yesterday and I thought it was interesting. And it kind of sparked a good question for me. So it was a post and it was comparing basketball players to football players in terms of like legacy wise,
Mhm.
like whose legacies match up. And they had one that was very odd to me. And they had Michael Jordan and Odell Beckham. And the caption on that specific photo was inspired a generation.
Mhm.
So that made me think if we're talking about receivers, who is the greatest receiver of all time and who was the most influential receiver of all time? Or are they the same person?
I do want to say, I think that caption that they put would make more sense if they had Steph Curry and Odell.
Yeah,
Because
I would
Steph,
agree. But
you know,
Michael But Michael, that feels like a reach because
Yeah, 100%.
Steph inspired this generation.
Yeah. Well, it's like
And it's like a different,
the
yeah,
thing you should say for Michael is the GOAT, right? So you should put Tom Brady,
right.
right? Unless you're a LeBron James lover and you don't think he's the GOAT, but saying that, like, giving him the most influential quote as
Yeah.
that's what he is doesn't fit with Michael
And
Jordan.
it's also a different sort of game. Like if we're comparing it Curry does fit it better, like you were saying, because Curry was it was more of like a razzle dazzle. Jordan was
And it was
just
a
like,
play
I'm gonna
style.
win.
Yeah.
Right. The play style matches up. Odell does crazy shit. He does crazy catches, obviously
Yeah.
the greatest catch of all time. Curry, crazy shots, deep shots.
Yeah.
The
So
play
like
styles match up a little bit more.
Curry
So then
changed the game to where everybody's shooting threes. Odell changed the game to where everybody's trying to do one-handed catches. You know, you go to a high school
right.
game, somebody's warming up the same way, trying to do that sort of catch.
And then if there is something like that, they're saying Odell. No one says Jordan anymore. Everyone says Curry.
Yeah, true.
So
Well, let's
then
get into your question.
so who is the greatest receiver of all time? We'll start there.
Ooh, greatest of all time. I'm gonna have to go with probably Jerry Rice, right?
Statistically,
Probably not
yeah,
statistically, or is it? I don't know. I'm just
maybe.
saying like who
It's got to
I
be
would view.
Jerry, Randy, or I feel like Calvin. Calvin Johnson was nasty, bro.
Yeah, Calvin is one of those goats for sure. But I
But
would
it's got to
say
be Jerry or
Jerry
Randy.
Jerry's like Michael Jordan. That's who I would compare him to because he's like an old like one of the most dominant guys of his time who people say was the best receiver of all time. And now that we got these new kids strutting around the field, we kind of don't talk about him anymore. He fits more with Michael, is what I
I
would
feel like
say.
we don't talk about greatest of all time, like greatest of all times in football as much, anyways. But I would agree with you. I think if you said Randy, I wouldn't be mad, and going with Jerry, I'm fine with that too. So I think that fits. But who is the most influential receiver? Is it Odell of all time? Who's the most influential receiver? Because I can't think of like growing up, I can't think of a receiver that everyone was trying to be like because Calvin, the body type, you're not
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Julio, the body type again. And also Julio wasn't like both with Julio and Calvin, they weren't like ever faces of the league to me. They weren't like an advertisement. They weren't like no one like everyone talked about him, but it was a moot point for Calvin at least because they weren't winning. And with Julio, it was just like that Atlanta team was always good but never great. So
I
is it
think
Odell? Is
I
Odell
think it
the
is
the most influential receiver of all time?
because the problem is in football, how much can you really like change if you're not a quarterback? Like the wide
Yeah.
receiver position is very it's very solid and there's not much you can change to be great
Yeah.
at the wide receiver position. I feel like Odell is the only person that ever sort of like change how wide receivers act and how they warm up. Like I said with the warm ups, like he changed like every number one wide receiver around that time was trying to do that jump up in the air and that swoop one-handed catching it
Yeah.
down. And I feel like playing like play styles and like how people try and act, I think it has to be Odell. Unless we're talking like
Yeah.
fashion, then maybe there's somebody else.
Well, and it's kind of crazy when you think about it, when you look across the receivers today and compare them to L in terms of acrobatic catches, the best receivers in the league, like let's just take Justin Jefferson as a like our guy that we're comparing. He's not doing crazy one-handed catches. He's
Yeah.
not like extending outside of his catch zone and stuff like that. And so in that way, Odell is pretty darn unique in that
Yeah.
way. There are guys like we get catches every once in a while, and it's a big deal, right? Like
Yeah.
we get catches every once in a while that are crazy like that.
He was like in his
But
prime, he was like the only guy who caught the ball differently, right?
yeah,
In a way that
yes.
in his prime, he was constantly getting the one hand catch.
Yeah, like there was and that's my point is like now it happens, but it might happen on a Sunday night game. It might
Yeah.
happen once on a Sunday. It's not so regular, but it felt like with Odell, and the proof is there. You can turn on his mixtape and it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Everyone, like 90% of his mixtape is just him snagging balls, and we don't see that anymore. And I think you're right, that he was just, the way
And
he
I
caught the ball in his prime was just different. And
yeah,
we
and
haven't had
also
anyone like that.
it's also age, but it's also how the game is developed to where those one-handed catches aren't as good as, say, somebody catching it perfect form,
Possession
running
catches. Yeah.
running a great route or catching perfect form and then breaking it for 10 yards.
Right.
That's where the league's going. Those spectacular catches aren't as like they look cool, but it's not really what you want anymore. You'd rather have a guy who can catch it and then keep his feet and then probably run for a little bit more.
I feel like the times we see it is red zone.
Yeah.
If we do see
Yeah.
crazy catches, but outside of that, it's rare that we see someone middle of the field, like the Mike Evans catch this year where he was like
Yes.
on someone's back. That's rare now. We don't
Or
see that
the
all that often.
the what's his name? Cruz on the Giants as well. What was his name?
Oh,
First
Victor
name.
Cruz.
Yeah, Victor Cruz, the one-handed catch on the helmet, like those crazy sort of catches. We really don't see those
Yeah.
anymore because I think we focus more on not being in those positions. I think we
Bro,
focus
that
more.
that game in the background is stressing your camera the fuck out.
All right, I'll stop
Because as soon as it got to a still picture, you got infinitely better.
it.
Anyways, I think I agree. I think yeah, those guys, Victor Cruz, Odell, that era, that like 20 teens era was
Whoa.
the 20 teens era, I feel like was that era of one-handed catches, and we've gone away from it, and maybe
I
we'll
mean, it's
start
the
to see
same.
it again.
Let's just
But
keep talking about 2016. It's around that time, like 2020 to 2015. That period was the greatest period of all time.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we,
Bro, we had
sports wise, so
2016. 2018 was a solid year. I feel like 2019 was underrated. That was the year we graduated. That was an underrated year. Would
I
you
think
agree?
2018 was the Odell like great season that he had.
With the Giants?
Yeah, I feel like when did he
Let's
make
see.
that catch? Was it in 2018?
I feel like it was I feel like it was 2016 or earlier. It was on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Let's see. When was the Odell catch? 2014.
Wow. Jesus.
10 years ago. It was a decade ago, bro.
10 years ago he made that catch.
That's crazy. And we're still talking about it. That's nuts.
We are old as hell. I could have sworn I was in high
Bro,
school for that catch.
we were. That was our freshman year.
I am old. Oh my God, that was 10 years ago.
Dude, that was
I was a
10
freshman
years
10
ago.
year. I was a freshman 10 years ago.
Yeah, bro, that's nuts. That's crazy.
Oh my God, I'm so old. What
That
are we
feels
doing?
that feels old, bro. That feels so old. November 23rd. So this November will be the anniversary of the Odell catch. Let's see if it's a Sunday night game. It's been a decade. I don't think it is. I don't know if it'll be Sunday again, but let's see. Let's see if it is.
What am I doing with my life?
November 24th. It's a Sunday, bro.
Oh, so it'll be a game. Maybe he can do it again.
It'll be a Sunday. No, 23rd. It'll be 23rd was a Saturday.
You know what's crazy? Odell's been in the league for 10 years.
That's wild, dude.
As a
That's
wide receiver,
crazy.
he's been in the league for 10 years and he hasn't even been like shambles or like trash. Like he still was at least in the
I don't
Super
know.
Bowl game for the Rams, even
Yeah,
the
that's
Super
true.
Bowl game for the Rams, he was great. And then this season with the Ravens, he had moments, right? Like
Yeah,
this is the end of his career and he's still having like he's still having moments.
that is
That's crazy.
crazy. Dude, you know what's why? Like, and I know you're not a basketball guy, but we're in the basketball community, we're all kind of coming to terms with the fact that all of our favorite players are starting to are going to be retiring in the next couple years. And it's tough, and I'm sure, and we're getting there with some of the, like, obviously all the quarterbacks, like football work. It's a couple years ahead. We've got mostly new faces as faces of the league in the NFL, but basketball, we're coming up on it. But bro, 10 years ago,
That is
the
insane.
anniversary will be November 23rd. It's a Saturday, so unfortunately no games, but the
You
next day
know,
will be
you
Sunday
you
Night
know why?
Football.
It's because he went to Cleveland. He went to Cleveland and his career died. That's why
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like that because we don't that
we
whole
didn't
we
talk about him for
yeah,
that
we
period of
threw that
time.
out of our memory the time he was on Cleveland. That is
And dude,
crazy.
he only got out of there like
Is he a Hall
with
of
the
Famer?
Rams. Ooh,
10
yeah, for
years.
sure. For
10
sure. For
years
sure. For sure.
Hall of Famer, we're saying that.
I think so. I think he's the problem the problem with this argument is in the NFL, the Hall of Fame actually matters, and they actually look at your statistics compared to your
Mhm.
peers of the era and of who you're going to be placed next to in the Hall. Um, but I
Who's his
think, I,
competition?
but I
Julio?
think to our point, with the how influential he is, he's a Hall of Famer
Yeah,
because
I
he
think so.
changed the way that receivers are viewed.
Yeah, 100%.
I think so. I think that because, and I mean, even stylistically, when you look at how, or not stylistically, aesthetically, the
Yeah.
way that receivers run, the way they break, the way they catch, the way they dress, like the cleats, all that stuff is
I
Odell.
know.
Before Odell, it wasn't a thing. He was the first one, the Joker cleats and all that stuff
Yeah.
in New York, all that stuff was Odell. So I think so. In a influential sense, he's got to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. I agree with that 100%. Odell, welcome to Buffet Sports Hall of Fame. You made it.
First guy in Buffet Sports Hall of Fame.
Congratulations, Odell. Give us $1,000 and then you can get a trophy.
I'm Devin. That's Zane, and this is Buffet Sports. If you want to see more of us, you can catch us on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at buffet.sports. We post every day, if not twice a day, except for Thursdays. And we'll see you guys later. Leave comments. We do a comment show every week. So, ciao.
Shout out Brady and Megan, the happy couple.